In Evil Dead, 5 friends head to a remote cabin where the discovery of a Book of the Dead leads them to summon up demons living in the nearby woods.
Spooky.
No. You don't understand. There was something in the woods. And I think it's in here with us now.
I was really looking forward to seeing the 2013 version of Evil Dead, although I, like you, I think, don't really recall the original Evil Dead that well.
Yeah, I'm not like a huge fan of it, but I definitely wanted to see it because it looked like the first horror movie in years to actually look good to me.
Right, that's the thing. I've seen bits and pieces of Evil Dead. I don't know if I've ever seen the whole thing, you know, and please don't take offense to that. I have no problem with Evil Dead. But the movie, the new one, the reimagining, whatever you want to call it, looked awesome.
Yeah, the trailer.
Even if it wasn't like a remake or whatever, it looked great. Not so much, you know, as far as the story goes, but as far as the visuals go, for sure. It looked legitimately pretty scary.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say, though, I don't think it was scary.
No, it was not scary.
Really at all.
No,
I mean, that sounds really negative. I can see people getting scared from it.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't find it super scary. Scary is not the right word.
Yeah, gruesome.
Gruesome for sure. I say brutal. Brutal's another word.
Yeah, gruesome and brutal, which was, I guess, like the theme of the original Evil Dead.
Yeah, definitely. And, I mean, that's what it looked like. You know, I would say the movie advertised in the trailers is pretty much what you get. I was not let down by that.
Oh, yeah, no.
But I will say, though, you know, I understand it's a reimagining of Evil Dead, so it's going to have the same story. But the thing is, Evil Dead kind of launched the story, like this kind of story. It's been done to death since then by all different movies. And of course, by the way, in case you're unaware, Cabin in the Woods was making fun of Evil Dead. It was not ripping off Evil Dead, because people think Cabin in the Woods... I'm sorry, actually, the reverse. A lot of people think Evil Dead ripped off Cabin in the Woods. Don't even ask.
Are those people okay?
Don't even ask. Anyway,
are their heads, like,
yeah,
deflated?
it's been done so many times that now we've got the reimagining, and it's like, okay, I've seen this a million times as far as the story goes.
That's unfortunately with horror movies in this day and age. We are seeing the same possession movies, ghost movies.
But the argument is, but it's Evil Dead, and it's like, yeah I know, but it's a new movie still, technically. So, I mean, I don't really know how to feel about that, but the story was definitely not the best part of the movie. Let's just say that.
But I would say for this kind of movie, I think the story fit perfectly. It definitely wasn't mind-blowing.
It was enough, I guess, just to make these crazy things happen.
Yeah, it was, I would say it was a very solid horror flick. I mean, like, not like...
Simple.
Yeah, it's simply solid.
But I would say more than simple, and much better than most horror movies today, were the visuals.
Yes, yes.
Can we just bow down to practical effects? Oh my god, it makes all the difference.
I've been telling everybody this since the first days of Pretty Much It.
You have.
If you haven't heard that, I can't take CG. I like CG if it's used...
I was going to say, it's necessary in a lot of times. Yeah, Iron Man can't legitimately fly, you know?
But back in, like, the early 2000s, CG was used very sparingly because, like, they didn't have the technology to make everything a cartoon. So it was used sparingly and it looked good. Now, today, everything looks fake. And I can spot CG like that, and as soon as I see it, I'm completely brought out of the movie 100% because I'm like, oh, they're not looking at anything.
But in Evil Dead 2013, and I'm sure the original as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
You know, obviously it matters now because it's a new movie, technically. Evil Dead 2013, all real, all legit, and you can tell, and it makes all the difference.
You will see what I'm talking about.
Other than that, though, as far as the directing goes, I would say that first of all, the tone of the movie, awesome.
Yes, the tone
was
very
powerful. You know, every shot just felt very like laced with tension and laced with dread. Dread, I would say, like foreboding dread is all over this movie. So that was awesome. Another thing I really loved about the movie that I think was hugely important was the sound design.
Yes.
Because, you know, you can go like this all day, but if you don't hear like the... like the snapping, it's nothing. And so I would say that the sound design really was like making me cringe a lot. Specifically, there's a part where someone is, we'll just say that they're cutting something off screen, and you just hear like...
That was so good. That was.
I was next to you. I was literally like, oh god, and it was just sound. That's it. So
that's a horror movie doing its job. It's been so long since I've actually seen a horror movie care.
Yeah. And another big plus to the movie, in my opinion, is the acting. I thought the acting was very good. First off, the main hero of the movie, Duct Tape.
Yes.
Great job. Duct tape.
Duct tape did his job.
Second off, we had Shiloh Fernandez we know him from Dead Girl.
Yeah.
And he's been in some other things, but I loved him in Dead Girl. I loved him in this. I think he's really good. He's got a different look to him, and he's just kind of interesting to watch.
Yeah, again, it wasn't like mind-blowing, but it fit like the situation.
Yeah, like, there was no character development or anything like that.
Oh, yeah,
really. Like, they were all just throwing, I don't know who the hell anybody was.
Yeah, it was like,
I didn't know who that blonde girl was for the most time.
5 teens, you know.
Yeah, but, you know, for what it's worth, as far as, like, you know, being scared and freaked out and whatever, I thought they added a little bit more to it than just being like, ah!
Yeah.
Lou Taylor Pucci, I think, was very underutilized. Lou Taylor Pucci, of course, from Brotherhood.
Yeah, but he did great.
He did great, but I just wish he was in it more, because I feel like anybody could have done what that role was, which, once again, I know I'm kind of asking too much. I understand.
Well, I mean, like this, like as you said, like Evil Dead set the standard for this horror movie stereotype.
Right.
It's like you got the main guy,
I know,
his girlfriend, the kind of goofy guy / stoner.
But he, I think, is better than he is better than he was even in this movie. Like, he could have been better if given more to work with, I think.
Yeah, but he still did great with what he had.
I still thought he was great, though, yeah. But the best, I think, was Jane Levy, or Levy. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. You could tell in the trailers that she was going to be great.
Yeah.
She was becoming this whole other person, and, you know, she was all over the place. She was scary. She was scary. I won't lie. Like, she was definitely scary. But she was also sweet and adorable when she was being sweet and adorable, you know? So she was all over the place. I thought she was fantastic.
Yeah, and it sticks out like a sore thumb for me because, I'm not being sexist here, ladies, but I'd say in recent horror movies, the female role is always really bad.
That's not your problem. Yeah, that's the writing problem.
It's like, I always kind of like want everybody to be dead by the end of the movie.
In this, I mean, she blew it out of the park. Talk about a strong, independent woman. She was killing everybody. But she really did surprise me. And honestly, it's one of those things where I always think you need to have it. It's something you need to just have in you. You can't.
No one could have played that role.
You can't make it up. She had that thing, and you know what part really shows that she has it when she's like, it's in the room with us. That whole deal, that was great. So even, like, that was scary, and she wasn't even, like, transformed at that point. So I gotta say, I saw her in another movie called Fun Size, and I thought she was whatever.
I've never seen her
It was a Nickelodeon kids movie. And so I didn't even realize it was her until we were sitting down, and I was kind of just looking things up on IMDb. Shocked. Good for her. I thought she was awesome. But those are the main ones we wanted to talk about. I thought everybody was fine in general. Everybody was good.
There was never a point where I was like, oh, God.
No, which is nice. It's refreshing because a lot of times that is what happens.
For people asking, you know, how does this compare to the original Evil Dead, I would say that's not a question you should be asking because when the original Evil Dead came out, it was a very different time of horror movies. And now we're in a completely new decade. Everything is very different from what was scary back then.
Very different from then, very same to everything now.
So you can't really compare them.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it's... You know what? They don't want you to anyway. They're not trying to... It's a whole reimagining sort of deal, I guess. So it's that's fair. I'll go with it. But as we wrap up, the only other thing I'll say is, as far as, you know, we talked about that it was brutal and it was violent, it was gory and stuff. Were you expecting it to go a little bit further than it did?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I'm not complaining.
No, I'm not complaining at all.
I'm not complaining because I loved it still.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. But yeah, as you were saying, when the trailer first came out, I was like, this is going to be incredible. Yeah. And it was good, but I guess I had a little too much. I was expecting too much.
And the other problem is
my fault.
The restricted Red Band trailer really kind of showed everything. You know, you know, it's in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything. But the part with the tongue, it didn't go further than what you see in the trailer. You know, so I was definitely expecting like what you see in the trailer is the beginning to a scene, but it was kind of just the scene. Yeah. So you know, and usually I would complain that I saw everything in the trailer, but it was put together well enough, and it's a very fast-paced movie. It gets right into it. Yeah. So I mean, I was into it from the start. I didn't have any issues like that. But the only thing we'll say, of course, before asking what you thought of the movie is, if you didn't see the movie yet, stay after the credits. Stay after the credits. Hugely important. Yeah. Not really, but it is worth staying for, trust me. But let us know in the comments what you thought of Evil Dead. Ooh. Let us know if you're a big fan of the original Evil Dead. How did this compare? I'm curious, so definitely let us know about that. Let us know, I guess, what was your favorite gross out part? Because the whole thing, of course, is just nothing but gross, crazy shit. Let us know who you liked in the cast. What did you think of Jane Levy or Levy, whatever. I apologize for not knowing exactly how to pronounce it. Let us know anything you want about Evil Dead. And that's pretty much it.
Not another peep. Time to go to sleep.